Then it's your chance to be ruthless.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. They don't wanna see me care. Anytime I make some progress, I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me, maybe something in the air. Am I paranoid? I swear a void is forming and they're scared I walk a straight path. Not many can say that. I like to play fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that I don't see your face at any place that I go. I know you hate that. I've been doing fine, I'm not wasting any more time. I live for the fight and the climb, and I think that the pain that's deep inside is what defines.
Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you're having a great, I think, what is it today? Tuesday? Tuesday it is. Tuesday it is. And YouTube's trying to get me to do stuff I don't want to do. So, with that said, I did wake up with that stupid thing in my throat again. It's interesting. It's just all coming back. Hopefully it's not that bad. Hot coffee cures cancer. You know it, Betty. You know it. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and get this part. What is going on with the chat? I don't understand what's happening. You guys are posting stuff in the chat. It's not coming through. I've activated, I've reactivated, I've done everything that I'm supposed to be doing, and it doesn't seem to be wanting to play for some reason. Let me see here. Criminy. Chat box 2. Chat box 2. I don't get it. I don't know what's happening. Maybe if I push this button. Okay, so there's that. And for some reason, the chat box just doesn't want to play games. Let's show that one. Let's click on that one right there. Oh, it works here. You guys can see it in the stream. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like this right here where you can normally see the chat on the side. Um, disappointing, but I guess I'll have to figure it out. Maybe I just need to reboot everything. All right, guys. So with that, let's not distract us. Let's not let that distract us. Man, what is going on? There's like a serious freaking delay. There are some serious issues on the YouTube. I see chat. Well, what I'm talking about, so like, all right, so not to dwell on it here, but like right here, there's normally chat that is filtered inside of the screen itself, showing what you guys are saying. So it's okay. It's okay. Morning visual on screen. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and knock this guys out. As usual, Rose Stoller first, Bradley Collins. Number two, Cindy, you are the turd. And who else? Who else do we got in the cave today? Let's see here. We got not a sponsor. Good morning, free people, and the Canadian. West Virginia Pappy, Sup Catitude, already shelling out $5, wants to see the fancy grand poobah of prepping hat. Deanna is here. Good morning, young lady. Alrighty then. Canada. We got vegan cookies is in the house, giving us a little bit of sunshine. We got Doug showing up. Good morning, my friend. Don't recognize your icon, but if you are a subscriber, hi. If you are not, make sure you subscribe. Pamela Prepper, good morning, my neighbor. Ian is in the house. We got Oops showing up. Where we at here? Troop, troop, troop. And then the rest of you are just. Laszlo showed up. There you go. Good to go. Is OBS up to date? I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. I don't like to. This computer's constantly asking me to update one thing or another. And every time I do, something goes wrong. Some giant spasmodic hiccup happens, and I can't continue to operate optimally. Turd me is okay, guys. So this the catchy thumbnail and the clickbait title all suggest that and have inspired me to talk about UN's Agenda 2030, formerly Agenda 2021. Of course, this video, simply by saying that, will likely be, it won't be, it won't do as well as you would think it would, but we're good. It's going to be okay. It's the dude. It's gonna be something, but we're going to talk about it. The reason we're going to talk about it is because I want to remind people that just because Captain Red Tie is in office, that we can't forget about our problems. He is not our savior. Okay, the organization, which is doing unbelievable things, they're not our saviors, guys. Regardless of what you believe, why he's here, the things he's doing, the draining of the swamp that is happening, the world, the United Nations in general, does not care. No, they can't. They won't demonetize me for this. They would love. YouTube doesn't like to demonetize people, guys. I'm here to tell you right now, because every single time I try to do anything that is live, they always ping me saying, you can get 20% more if you put a mid-roll in there. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's stupid. They want that money, and they will leverage even the smallest YouTube developer to get it. All right. So with that said, I may have to go to the two blue pill method here shortly. We shall see what happens. All right. And vegan, I appreciate you saying that, because that might be it. Never it does weird things. It does weird things. But let's get back on point. Let's get back on point. For our newest members, we've had a couple in the last week or so. Don't forget that you have fancy emojis available to you that other people don't. So now you know that. Doug says every corporation has toyed with downsizing in order to increase shareholder value so they can dump. I believe it. I believe it. All right. So the UN Agenda 2030, formerly titled the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, was adopted by all United Nations members in September of 2015. It's sprawling framework built around 17 Sustainable Development Goals, also known as SDGs, each with a specific target, 169 in total, aimed at tackling some of humanity's biggest challenges by the year 2030. These goals cover everything from eradicating poverty and hunger to ensuring clean water, affordable energy, gender equity, of course, and climate action, right? All, all while promoting peace, justice, and strong institutions. The UN pitches it at a universal, or should I say, the UN pitches it as a universal call to action, a blueprint to improve lives, protect the planet, foster global prosperity. If you agree or disagree, put it in the chat. On paper, it's hard to argue with clean water or education for all. But beneath the surface, a vocal subset of critics sees something far more sinister. A vocal subset, I just read that, a plan riddled with hidden agendas and nefarious implications. Their distrust isn't just paranoia, it's rooted in specific concerns about power, autonomy, and even intent. So, what we're going to do is we're going to unpack what makes people uneasy. We're going to dive in, we're going to get pretty deep into the key points of uh, that are of contention and why people don't trust these shiny promises. But before we do that, all right, got to do it. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. This stuff's coming up right up out of my lungs, but I'm going with the two blue pill method. She's in so much trouble. All right. So before we go any further, let's go and go to the poll. And the question in the poll was, what worries you most about UN Agenda 2030? 50% say depopulation concerns, 30% say loss of national sovereignty, 20% say surveillance and tech control, and 0 say wealth distribution. As usual, this is you don't have to jump in on the poll just yet. I almost kind of ask people to wait till the end, but people are going to do what they want to do. And then go, let's see here. I guess we're going to go to the chat here. Rose says it's because we are late. YouTube is upset. Oh, the reason my chat's not coming through. Let's see here. West Virginia Pappy says he is merely a tool in the grand scheme. Doug says we've done that already. Brad, my internet clock is off a little with the live being an hour later. Let's see here. Rose says the more they try to rule us, the UN, the worse it is for us, it seems. You know, we've been actually pretty we put up a pretty good fight here in America against the United Nations. And thankfully we've had enough people in the United Nations representing the United States to remind these nutbags that while there's a lot of really good touchy-feely stuff going on, that you cannot impose yourself onto a nation and its founding rights. And so they've kind of figured that out, but that doesn't mean they're going to stop pushing. Vegan Cookie says, skip the red pill and took 2 blues. Morpheus would be proud. I, ne- I never thought of it that way. I never thought of it that way. All right. So, with that said, let's go ahead and jump into it. So, I've got this broken down into some key concerns, and we're going to talk about each one of them. If you're new to the channel, the way we do this is I talk about stuff, you write about stuff, and I talk about the stuff that you wrote. This is adult participation is required. All right. So, man, now my nose is running. What the hell? I don't know what's going on. All right. So, first one, centralized control and loss of sovereignty. One of the loudest alarm bells for skeptics is the specter of centralized control. The Agenda 2030 emphasizes, quote, global partnership and collective action. These phrases that sound cooperative, but to some hint as a slow creep towards uh, uh, su- like supranational governance. The document itself doesn't call for a one world government, but let's be clear, that's not in the text, but its represented push for harmonized politics and international oversight rubs people the wrong way. Goal number 17, for instance, is about the strengthening global partnership, which includes mobilizing resources and aligning national national plans with UN frameworks. Now, critics would ask, who's really in charge here? If countries are expected to sync their laws, economies, and environmental rules with a UN led vision, what happens to national sovereignty? The fear is that local decision making gets eroded, replaced by mandates from unelected bureaucrats in New York or Geneva. Unfortunately, what has happened, guys, and make sure you guys put some stuff inside in the chat there. Um, and you know what? Do me a favor, guys. Hit that thumbs up button for me real quick. It'll draw more people in here. I can't see that on my screens, but I have this feeling that my spidey senses are tingling, telling me that there's not enough thumbs up in the thumbs up button world. Jim Bob 2 times. Good to go. Jim Bob, Jim Bob. Um, good to see you, bro. We're talking about UN's Agenda 2030. And we've just got done talking about the first part of centralized control and loss of sovereignty. Now, it's kind of like this, we common sense would dictate that if we synced all of our stuff up, that we would now be all the same. We wouldn't just be unified. We wouldn't just be synchronized. We would be the same, and that means that we would have to follow all of the crazy laws that the UN is trying to put on us. Now, there's a perfect example of why this doesn't work. It's actually out there in the real world. You can examine it yourself. Don't trust me. By the way, shirt of the day. Gotta love it. Um, and that would be the European Union. Now, the day the European Union had all of its signatories show up to become part of, to synchronize everything, right? They wheeled out the document to be signed in one of those carts that is reminiscent of the what is it, the red flyer. No, somebody put it in the chat. By the way, my chat just did some stupid stuff. Not enough memory to run that chat. That doesn't make any sense. Reloading that. Radial flyers, and this thing was 6 feet tall, paper, single sheets, 6 feet tall, of all of the regulations that they would be signing on to when they joined the European Union. This is exactly what would happen if the United Nations had their way. Now, the European Union was also seen as a possible stronghold against American strength, which was kind of foolish because it didn't really work. All it really did was take in lots of taxes, put lots of regulations on people, and in some countries has almost no authority, even though it kind of does. Because what the European Union does is like, you signed on with us, and we see that you don't want to do the things that we want you to do. So we're just going to fine you because it's just a giant club. You know what I'm saying? It's not a real thing. We don't have an army. No one's really in charge, right? We're just going to fine you like a giant HOA. And that's how they do business. They'll literally fine a country billions of dollars. And somehow they expect them to pay it, even though they've collected all the taxes themselves, which is really weird. Guys, do me a favor. My chat rate has dropped to 0, which means you are either just listening, fondling yourself, or the chat is broken. So do me a favor. Put anything in the chat, a number, a letter, your last 4 your social security number, the first 4 your zip code, or your MasterCard, Um, let's see here. I have 18 to 19 in chat with 13 thumbs up. Please remember to hit that thumbs up, please. Thank you, Rose. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Because like I said, I can't tell. I can't tell. I have this little meter on my YouTube analytics that tells me what the chat rate is. All right. So with that said, thank you, Jim Bob. Perfect. That's absolutely, absolutely perfect, everybody. Absolutely perfect. Go, 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 go. All right. So these problems, they're not theoretical. Okay. The agenda's implementation involves bodies like the UN Environmental Program, or the UNEP, and the International Monetary Fund. Oh, that's a scary one, which some see as a tool of global elites. Now, take climate action, which is goal number 13. It demands the coordinated efforts across borders. So basically, yeah, number 13 basically says, let's have laws that go across borders so we can do what we want to do. It demands coordinated efforts across borders, potentially overriding a nation's right to prioritize its own energy needs, like if a coal dependent country gets pressured to shut down plants without affordable alternatives. The voluntary nature of these SDGs is the UN's defense. It's not binding, they say, but critics point to soft power tactics, funding tied to compliance. Oh, we just talked about that with the European Union, didn't we? Trade incentives or public shaming. And they do a lot of that in the UN, but yeah, it doesn't really have an effect on us because the UN to the United States is kind of like the little kid down at the end of the corner flipping you off, and you know you can just walk over and kick his ass. But you don't. You're like, whatever, kid. Um, so for those who value self-determination, this smells like a Trojan horse where the common good becomes a lever to control dissenters. Trust evaporates when people feel their authorities at stake. Interesting. And Ian looks like Ian just got us one step closer to the emergence of the what? There we go. Okay, I thought it was. I thought I only have a certain amount of time to reply to these things. Believe it or not, guys, it's pretty dumb. It's pretty dumb. You man. There we go. And everybody, make sure you guys give Ian a thumbs up because he is helping to keep the lights on at local prepper headquarters. There we go. Let's see here. Jesse P, good to see you, my friend. Don't recognize you. Make sure you subscribe. Light Raider, good morning. Good morning. Let's see here. I'm in a public place. No touching myself. This is what happens when you tell somebody to put anything in the chat. And that's okay. That's okay. As long as it doesn't get me kicked off YouTube, we're good to go. All right. So the big stink is really that whole centralized control and loss of sovereignty. Basically us usurping the Constitution of the United States, which some think is actually their goal. Big delay. Um, go, Ian. It's your birthday. Big delay. Yeah, YouTube is YouTube is basically I don't know what the hell it's doing today. The lights are on and it's functional, so zero complaints will be given on my side. Allergies are getting to me too, LP. I don't know if that's what it is. I know the trees are definitely loaded here. I've seen a lot of videos in the local area of people just like they go to the park. They take their kids to the park just to like bang on a tree and watch it all turn like to an orange cloud. I'm really wondering. I'm going to be going to North Carolina this weekend, and I'm really wondering if the trees, all the pine trees there are loaded up and ready to go. Got to go mow the property. Let's see here. Jesse P says, "Yeah, I've been there before, but only once. I kept missing you after on the live streams. I got you. Well, Jesse, it sounds to me like you are benefiting from our new time of 10 a.m. We're going to give that a try. We're I know that it's funny too because it's like there's people that tell me no, I want you to stay at 9 a.m. When I ask, like I did yesterday. But then I think to myself, if I keep going after 10, after I normally go 9 to 10, right? If I keep going after that, these people all stay. They all hang out. So it's like, well, maybe we can get some newer people that have been missing the live streams by moving it to 10. You know, I actually didn't know what to do with myself for about an hour this morning. I'm so used to just going hot right at 9 a.m. So we're gonna do some stuff. Light Raider, you are a troublemaker. You guys are trying to get the hat. Everybody make sure. Oh, almost there. There we go. We're 3 of 5. We are 3 of 5. We're 3 of 5. When I say almost there, I mean like almost there. I'm gonna put that damn thing on. I think you guys like it more than it. I've ever since the girlfriend put that stuff on the hat, everybody loves it now, and people are asking for even more. It's weird. Let's see here. You just need to do longer shows. I know, and I kind of agree with that. Uh, oh my God, Cindy. Oh, you guys are killing me. Amish taxi all week. Have an awesome day. You too, Cindy. Everybody give her a thumbs up. Oh, you're the best. You The best. Um, but you know, the hell were we talking about? You guys are distracting me with dollar bills. I feel like a pole dancer. I honestly forgot, but I'm going to just continue on. I'm going to continue on and pretend that you guys aren't trying to dress me in funny clothes and make me act stupid. All right, so the next one is economic overreach and wealth redistribution. How many tickles does it take to make an octopus? 10 tickles. So economic overreach and wealth redistribution. Um, so with this, then there's the money question. Um, Short with emergency TV. I found you because of the short with the emergency TV alert and the woman freaking out. That was powder. Oh yeah, and that was actually cut down. You guys are distracting me, but I appreciate it because I like when people get in the chat. If I could like make a something like where I'm just sitting around doing nothing but chatting with you guys, I would do that. I really would. Yeah, that was actually a pretty powerful video because, and it was actually longer. And in that video, I had to really cut it down to turn it into a short because it was like almost 5 minutes long, where this woman is losing her damn mind. And what her son did was he played this video that you can actually download. Um, and he's just like laying in the couch, and then he's like laughing at his mom. That's why this whole thing got recorded. This woman lost her mind. She's screaming at her husband. She's screaming at her kids. And it's funny too because she was not stupid, because she started naming off all like the things that she's supposed to have. We're supposed to be prepared. We don't have any of that shit. It's pretty crazy. Um, but is warm love, not just cold cash. But yeah, that's actually one of my favorite videos that I edited to get people's attention. Okay, so economic wealth and wealth redistribution. Then there's the money question. The SDGs come with a jaw-dropping price tag. Estimates from the UN and World Bank peg the annual cost at 5 to 7 trillion, like Tyrone with the alien, trillion dollars. That's trillion with a T. Every year for 15 years. Goal 1, no poverty. Goal 10, reduced inequalities. Lean heavily on mobilizing resources, especially from wealthier nations to poorer ones. The agenda talks about innovative financing and global resource pools, basically your wallet, which sounds fine until you realize it might mean taxing richer countries or their citizens to bankroll development elsewhere. Critics call it wealth redistribution on steroids, a system where the West puts the bill while losing economic leverage, which is basically what USAID has been doing for years when it's not funding people living like kings and queens. Now, the distrust here ties to who controls the cash and how it's spent. The UN isn't exactly a lean operation. If you guys don't know what that is, that's a business term, basically meaning that they manage their money very well and don't spend a lot. It's bureaucracy. It's famous, and partnering elites like the IMF or the World Economic Forum don't inspire confidence among skeptics. The WEF's greatest reset rhetoric, or I'm sorry, the WEF's Great Reset rhetoric, though separate from Agenda 2030, often gets conflated with it, especially the line, "You'll own nothing and be happy." That's a different group of guys. That's a different group of evil, Legion of Doom. That's not in the UN text, but Goal 12 of sustainable consumption pushes for efficient uses of resources, quote fingers activated, and sustainable lifestyles, basically cut back. Don't it basically with different words saying you'll own nothing and you'll like it, which some read as a code word for downsizing personal property or imposing limits on consumption. Imagine carbon taxes or regulations that hit small businesses hardest while letting mega corporations off the hook. Scenarios like that fuel the idea of an economic power grab masked as fairness. people don't trust it because they see a future where their financial freedom shrinks, and the beneficiaries are faceless global players, not their own communities. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and go to the poll. We have 16 votes, and wow, this thing really loves 31%. So I've got three for 31%: loss of national security, surveillance and tech control, depopulation concerns, and 6% for wealth redistribution. And let's see here, going to the chat. Let's see here. Found that warm love agenda 2030. Billy King, good to see you, bro. Yeah, the video was teaching moment for sure. Absolutely. Uh, how about invasion therapy? Stay in your own country. Invasion therapy. Oh, non-invasion therapy. I got you, Ro. Wow. Wow. Also, stop destroying the Amazon River habitat. Well, I'm in, there's so many. I wouldn't dig too deep into that. Okay. And here's why. So I've actually swam on the Amazon River and lived to survive. Very dangerous place. The Amazon in general, whichever country you're in, the Amazon River is in its basin is basically just like it just eats everything. Not a joke. Anything that's not natural or human, it just overtakes it. Okay. And anything if we're talking about how they cut that road for the highway for that summit for the so they can do whatever they're going to do, um I don't really see it as a bad thing, and here's why. Because if they continue to maintain the pr- the ground, the footprint of this highway they have running through the Amazonian basin, um, it's going to increase trade, and it's also going to increase modernization of very, very non-modern cultures down there. Um, McDonald's will make its way there sooner or later, and people will start to put more money in the area, and then people won't be like dying of whatever disease because the doctors will eventually get there. If they don't maintain it, then the jungle will just eat it right back up like it was never there. If you don't believe me, think about all of the pyramids that we find under triple canopy jungles. Okay, so it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Let's see here. The environment is such a problem and expensive to maintain. I vote that we abolish the environment. Agreed. No more environment. All right. Dome IT. I don't know. I don't know what that means. All right. So the next thing is surveillance and technocratic control. Actually, we're halfway through the live stream. So if you guys are new and you're not aware something's about to happen, if you're on the ball, you guys already know which icon you should be picking. And if you love your country, put a one in the chat. Okay, I'm gonna drink some coffee. I'm gonna talk some smack. I'm gonna read you some stuff because it's educational. It's an educational channel. Don't believe me? Check out the video description. And now I'm going to pay some bills, and this one is going to be close, near, dear to my heart. All right, guys, I got to go to my email because there's a new one out there that Refuge has put out. This one was titled "The Final Steps That Can Save a Life." Life Save, number 97, the story. Last night, and remember, this is not me, I'm reading it, okay? Last night, I was going to pick up pizza for my family. I was driving north at a low rate of speed, and a gentleman ran out in front of the car coming in the northbound lane and made them lock their brakes up. He stopped, looked at her, then looked my way and ran into the front corner of my 1-ton truck. I didn't see him till the last second. He bounced off and hit his head on the ground. Immediately jumped out of my truck, focused on the situation, grabbed my bag, and began to assess the gentleman and begin to render aid. He had a gash in the front of his head. So I started there and realized there was a good pool of blood forming underneath his head. At that moment, I started grabbing the pressure bandage out of my bag and started wrapping his head, making sure to cover both wounds. Then I grabbed an ace bandage to help apply more steady pressure. I was with the man for 15 minutes before anyone got there because rescue was held up by a passing train. By this time, another civilian came up to help me render aid and relay info to 911. Once professionals arrived, I washed hands of and they went hands on. The gentleman was older and is currently on life support. I was told if I did not render aid the way I did, the gentleman would have not made it to the hospital. Guys, emergencies happen when you least expect them. One individual was quick to respond, having his gear ready to deploy. He knew the steps to take in assessment of the injuries and to help stabilize until a higher level of care arrived. This is all part of the March algorithm, guys. And why? Because Refuge Medical is the best damn medical company on the planet. Everything is made in America, everything's sourced in America, everything's sewn in America, and everything is guaranteed for life. And if you save a life with their equipment, they will replace your kit. They will replace what's inside your bag. Guys, I don't think it gets any better than that. I really don't. And if you want to save a little bit of money, there's a code right there on the screen there, local prepper, save 15% because good gear is not cheap. Now, how do we get there? It's actually pretty easy. Down there, you see that? Prepper gear. I like. There's a link right there in the description. Go there, scroll down till you hit Refuge Medical. Don't forget about the code local prepper, and you can save 15%. And that's actually pretty good because most companies only offer about 10% off their medical gear. 15%, it's just for me. It's special. It's special for us people that care. Okay, guys. With that said, I believe the bills are paid. Looks like everybody did the America stuff. Let's see here. Bradley says, I think sustainable practices can help alleviate food deserts by having more local garden. Yes, they should be growing stuff everywhere, everywhere. And I think it's kind of hilarious too because, when I go to New York, there's a couple of buildings just before it's like this row of buildings that are just before you go one of the tunnels and you have to really look for them, but they have like trees growing out of the top of the building, not a building where they actually have like trees growing in like giant trees growing inside of the base of this giant building. It's all in completely enclosed with glass. Why isn't there food growing in there? They're freaking lazy. Maddie, what's up, mate? Hey, y'all from Australia. Looks like I caught. If I, it looks like if I do my live streams at 10 a.m. instead of 9 a.m., I catch Australians. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to surveillance and technocratic control. Gonna sip a little coffee. My pills are wearing off. I'm losing my edge. We'll see what happens. I got a couple more left. Let's see here. Surveillance and technocratic control. Now, technology is another flashpoint of Agenda 2030. Now, goals like number 3, which are good health, 4, which is quality education, and 11, which is sustainable cities, rely on data collection. Ooh, that's not sneaky at all. It's not even slightly nefarious, is it? They rely on data collection and innovation to succeed. The UN doesn't spell out dystopian tools like facial recognition or social credit systems, but critics have connected the dots. Smart cities, which we all know super suck, a concept tied to goal 11. Oh, whoa. Everybody pump the brakes. Smart cities are connected to goal number 11? Huh. Interesting. This could mean sensors tracking your energy use, travel patterns, or even trash output. And it's all in the name of sustainability. Now, health targets include universal access to reproductive care. I didn't know being a great nation was access. They call it reproductive care, but have you actually heard of anybody like having babies? You know? Hmm. Yeah. It's kind of the opposite of reproductive. And that's goal number three, which might lean on digital IDs or vaccine passports, especially post that thing we can't talk about. The agenda's vague language of strengthening capacity or enhancing resilience leaves room for interpretation. And that's where trust really does break down. Now, the fear is a technocratic nightmare. Governments or corporations using Agenda 2030 as a pretext to monitor and micromanage citizens. You know, think China's social credit system as a worst case template. Your carbon footprint or sustainable behavior. These are all words written in the document. Could dictate your privileges even without conspiring or conspiracy Googles, the push for global data sharing, which is goal 17, raises hackles. Who gets that data? How is it secured? Things like that. The UN's partnership with tech giants like Google or Microsoft does not help. People already are very weary of big tech. They see it as a recipe for surveillance creep. Trust kind of falters when the tools meant to save the planet could also lock you in a digital age. Not a joke. All right, going to move on over to the poll. Looks like the poll has changed slightly. 35%. The question is, what worries you most about Agenda 2030? 35% loss of national sovereignty, 35% surveillance and tech controls, 25% depopulation concerns, and 5% wealth distribution. Going to go to the chat here real quick. We got a few things in there. Let's see. Hey from Australia, welcome to the show. It's 1:37 here. Is this the 17 sustainable goals of the UN? No, no. This is more about the overarching Agenda 2030, which does have some of those things in there. There's actually a buttload in there, more than 17. 17 is a good number, but you got to break it down a little bit further. Bradley says the internet just took a dump on me right on my back. Light Redder says, how many more are needed for this hat? It looks like one more. I don't even like talking about it, but basically one more $5 donation. For those of you that don't know, all that money goes directly to me getting a brand new PC because the command center back there it looks really cool, but it's let's just say it like took two craps and threw up yesterday twice. Let's see here. Grow garden, not a lawn. There you go. Let's see. And Maddie says, okay, so there's going to be a language. We're separated by a common language, Maddie. So I'm going to try and put this together. Our wheelie bin just got replaced here, and a neighbor told me to look under the lip of the bin. So he's talking about I get it, the wheelie bin. You got to make it do a wheelie to go down the road. I got you. It's your trash bin. Gotcha. There's a hidden disc chip fitted. I shit you not. Apparently, truck will weigh the bin and charge us. Oh, that is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. So I guess the test, Maddie, is put an empty bin out there and see how much you get charged. Take your stuff. Can you take your stuff to the dump all by yourself? Catitude did it. Oh, oh. Funny clothes time. Catitude. I'm gonna burn that. Oh. I'm burning that tutu because you're always the instigator. Let's see here. Maddie, revolution should have happened. And it's funny too because I can't even finish my sentence. You guys are gonna shut me down. All right, hold on. All right. The grand poobah of preparedness has entered the room. All be silent. All be silent. Jesus Christ, moron. All right, so put a one in the chat if you think this is really stupid, but you kind of like it. All right, son. Maddie says, I live 30 miles from the nearest town, isolation here, and I think I did the right thing moving here. Can you burn your trash or they give you a ticket for that too? Light Redder says, I love it. Yeah, that's kind of crazy, man. I would they probably got a base fee for services. If you just like put your bin out there and put like one can of soda in it. You know what I'm saying? Like one can of soda and like video the whole thing, right? Um, just see what happens. Just see what bill you get. If you can burn your own trash. Fire ban. Yeah, that's right. You guys have fire bans all the time. I can't believe that damn place hasn't burned to the ground by now, as bad as the fires get there. Deanna showed up. What's going on? She loves it. Deanna loves it. I always do this wrong. It's like that's an infinity. The infinity sign, also known as a Mobius. And there's the heart. There's the heart. Oh, there's the heart. There you go. Just to be honest, I'm just here for the hat. Whoop whoop. Attitude just outed herself. She's that one that's like at the ball game with her kids. You suck, rap. Let's see. They are bringing in a carbon credit charge. Yeah, that stuff's such a joke, man. That is, I really hate. I really got into uh and I'm getting sidetracked here, but I want to tell you since you're showing up here and it's like almost 2 o'clock in the morning there. So, and I appreciate you, man. So I really like as Americans, well, we used to get taught in world history about like the forming of Australia. Basically, it was a penal colony, and then it became its own country. But they don't tell us that it was like it was formed by revolution and that it was literally about, a soldier who killed somebody just cause, and then they took his rifle and then they said, we're tired of this and we can do our own thing. And that's actually how, Australia stood up. And then with the pandemic and all the stuff that was going on there, where there's like 10 officers jumping on like 50 people and they're just like, and being so compliant and then they were doing some really really nefarious stuff, hurting people and locking people up. And I don't understand how at that point in time the citizenry of Australia did not like, all right guys, find something hard to swing and let's go down to the local PD. You guys aren't in charge anymore. Do you have any questions? you know, and that should have happened in every single township in Australia. Not a joke. That's how revolution spreads. A lot of people don't understand that only about 30%, it's actually closer to 23. It's how it depends on how much you defined it, but only about 30% of the population of America at the time of our revolution were part of the revolution itself, that fought, that died, that stood up. Okay. Only about 12 to 13% were actually hardcore, we're going to go kill as many redcoats as possible. Such a small amount of at the time, a very, very small country, population wise, was able to take over and just destroy, the largest empire on the planet. Human power is so powerful. And I just don't understand why Australia had sunk so low. I don't understand how the Canadians did this. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. All right, let's see here. I guess I said some poignant stuff with my great poobah hat on, so I've got all your attention. Um, the chat has died. The chat has died. So something in the chat. Depopulation and Malthunius Malthunian vibes. All right, so here's where it kind of gets dark. Where some critics, especially in fringe circles, see Agenda 2030 as a depopulation plot. The logic hinges on sustainability goals 12 and 13, which balances population against resources. Now, Thomas Malthus, that's where you get the Malthusian vibes from. He's an 18th century economist, and he warned of overpopulation crashing societies. And the goal number three's target of universal access to sexually reproductive health services sounds benign. Think contraception and material care. But the paranoid read it as a step forward for sterilization or or abortion quotas. Is my hat fault? I got that thing. Now, there's no evidence for that in the text. The UN's focus is on voluntary family planning. Still, the whispers persist. If sustainable means fewer people, who decides how many is too many? Now, the distrust mainstream, I'm sorry, the distrust isn't mainstream, but it's vocal on platforms like X. It tries to, or should I say, it ties to broader suspicions about global elites like Bill Gates. His name keeps popping up, um, giving his funding of healthy initiatives and past musings on population growth. The agenda doesn't advocate for eugenics or mass culls, but it emphasizes on carrying capacity. Um, Basically, the earth, it can only handle so many humans, and resources or resource limits feed that narrative. Now, people don't trust it because they've seen powerful institution overreach before. And the stakes, well, they're human lives. And this feels too high on the list to ignore or categorize in the what ifs category. So something to think about. Something to think about. Um, let's see here. Deanna says, "Prep on." There we go. That's right, because Deanna has access to all the icons now. That's cool. Rose says, "Now we're here trying to come up with responses." I blew your minds. Let's see here. The militarist showed up. It's both. It's both control, birth control, birth control. Oh, maybe it is both control. Cat2 says, I'm all for mental evaluation and common sense tests before procreating. Oh, yes. There are some people that should not have children because of either biological issues. We cannot continue to make stupid people. And there's an argument that says, well, we need stupid people to pick our crops. We need stupid people to do this and do that, but I'm here to tell you that there's a lot of intelligence that is needed to pick a crop. It's more than just finding the red berries on the stems. Some of these people know what to leave and when and what to take and what not to touch. And oh, by the way, this yeah, I just noticed. I'm just a dumb crop picker, and I just happen to notice that you have a very specific type of fungi growing on these, and now they're all polluted. But I need to tell somebody, but I'm too dumb to tell somebody. You know what I'm saying? There are some people out there that should not be procreating because they just have mental deficiencies. And it's not personal. It's just that the world is getting more difficult to live in with technology. Technology is supposed to make everything easier. But I run across this all the time where there was a situation yesterday where someone who was elderly, who is now in mental decline, could not understand why their cell phone was making noise. You see what I'm saying? So we've got to be careful with that. We've got to be careful with that. Let's see here. Matt says, "Have you got a lot of Miggy's flies buzzing around your cam lens there?" Oh no, that's app. That's that's part of the hold on. I don't know if I can turn that off. Hold on a second. Let's see if I can find this. Thinking about a video ending. No, that's not it. That's the wrong one. Latest follower subscription goal. Actually, it should be like the very first one that's on, I think. Is that it? No, that's not it. Custom icon live. Ah, webcam overlay. That's the overlay's off. Chat box. That's a different chat box. You got me looking at stuff, man. You got me looking at stuff. I don't know. No, but it's part of the app. It's like supposed to be like Fire Embers. It's what it's supposed to be. I've been wanting to change this setup that I have for a while now, but I just haven't got around to it. All right, let's see here. Going to the chat here. If all illegal immigrants were we gather and stand together in their own homelands instead of ruining, but it would be better for them. We need to fight the bullies and protect and self and home. Yes, Rose, absolutely. there's something to be said for just staying where you are and making where you are better instead of trying to come here so that you can make your life better, but make other people's lives worse. George Soros, the militarist says. Jesse P says everything starts out voluntary and at some point becomes mandatory. Register your chickens voluntarily. Now it's not in most places. Wear your seatbelt. Started voluntary. Now it's not, and so on. Yeah, yeah, Jesse, you're absolutely right. It does happen. It unfortunately it does happen. The government never gives back power. They take power. They make rules. They don't unmake rules. It's a little ridiculous. Bradley says, idiocy is becoming more and more true with every generation. Idiocracy as well, my friend. Makes it's got what's good for it. Maddie says they want to bring in the big ID this year here in Oz. Man, you guys are like a testing ground for everything that is bad in the world. I hate to say it, man, but it's so true. Um, Militra says, I don't trust technology. Technology is part of our lives, and we could probably live without it. We just wouldn't live as well as we do today. Let's see here. West Virginia Pappy says, was that person the last president? Yeah, unfortunately. Um, Oops says, give inches, take miles. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. All right, so we're going to move on here. We're actually behind schedule, but I'm going to keep this live stream going until we're done, because this will take more than 5 minutes. Because I think that we need to maintain like continuity. You know what I'm saying? So the next thing is to drink a little bit of coffee. Do me a favor, guys. If you could please put a one in the chat, it'll help draw people in here. I'll give you just because I love it. I normally don't do that twice during a live stream, but I think that I've got more to talk about today, and we need to bring as many people in here as possible. So throw a number one in the chat there. Be loving, be giving, and it is free. You got the hats. You got the hats. So, I mean, time to pony up. All right. So, vague language and elite influence. Now, finally, the agenda's vagueness is a trust killer. Terms like transformative or inclusive or resilient pepper the document. But what do they mean in practice? Now, goal 16, which is peace and justice, wants accountable institutions. Man, there's so many quote fingers firing. They're like flocks of quote fingers flying through the screen right now. Accountable institution, but who holds the UN accountable? The lack of specifics lets critics project their worst fears: centralization, surveillance, economic upheaval onto a plan that's broad enough to fit almost any interpretation. The ambu, ambiguity, there we go, paired with the UN's top down structure, breeds suspicion. It's not a grassroots movement, guys. It's a pact between governments and NGOs, often brokered by people far removed from the average person's life. The elite angle amplifies this. Now, the SDGs were shaped by input from world leaders. These goals, okay, were shaped by the input of world leaders, CEOs, and think tank people. Not exactly a town hall crowd. Now, when the WAF or Davos types cheer it in, it's easy to see why some smell a rat. Trust erodes when the architects of your future are billionaires and diplomats who don't live your struggles. Oh, it's a little insane. It's just a little insane. Looks like you guys helped me out in the chat. I appreciate you. Let's see here. Brondo. It's what plants crave. It does electrolytes. I know, right? It's a common theme here. Um, Bradley says, nope, I'm putting a 3. Ha, can't stop me. Good for you, man. America. Do your thing, buddy. Do your thing. All right, so the last thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about something called the counterpoint and the gray zone. Now, the UN insists Agenda 2030 is voluntary, flexible, and noble. Poverty's down global since 19 or poverty is down globally since 1990. Maybe this accelerates that. Clean energy and education aren't inherently evil, but the counterpoint does erase the critiques. It just highlights the gap between intent and perception. The real question is execution. A well-meaning plan could still be hijacked by power hungry actors if oversight is weak. And that's where the nefarious vibe lives. Not in the goals themselves, but in the hand wielding them. And skeptics don't trust it because they've seen promises twists before kind of like post 9/11 security laws. Uh, you know, let's think about this. Post 9/11 security laws or financial bailouts that favor the bank and centralized control, economic strings, surveillance risks, population paranoia, and elite fingerprints. These are the fault lines. Check the source at I want you guys to check out this source at sdg.un.org. I'm going to put that into the chat. I'm not sure how it's going to end up because I'm literally going to copy and paste it right here. Okay, so it didn't. So you're going to have to put a www blah blah blah, blah on top of that. I want you to sift through some X debates, and I want you to weigh the optimism against the shadows. It's less about proof of malice and more about who you trust with the reins of tomorrow. Because if the UN, if the UN was ran the way our government is being run now, the UN could actually be a thing. But unfortunately, it's not. It never has been, and so the assumption is that it will never will be. Now, with that said, guys, I'm pretty much my manuscript is complete, and if you have not voted in the poll yet, currently there are 23 votes. The question is, what worries you most about UN Agenda 2030? 39% believe loss of national sovereignty. 30% believe surveillance and tech control. 26% believe depopulation concerns, and 4% our wealth distribution. I post all of these results over on X shortly after this. YouTube is not letting me post these polls anymore. I don't know why. I think my machine doesn't like it. Something is wrong. Something is wrong in the posting world on YouTube, but it doesn't matter. So, guys, make sure you do those things. If there's anything else that you want to say right now, now is the time to do it. Otherwise, I'm going to shut this stuff down. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. I'm going to wait however long it waits to see something in the chat, and then we will move forward with that decision making process activated. All right, let's see here. A book. It's a book. Yeah, yeah, it is. You know what? You know what? I think I'm gonna fix that link. Hold on. Let me. I will make a real link for you guys. By going there myself, if it will let me. There we go. Make the SDGs a reality. Control copy and control V and enter. There's actually a link right there. All right, guys. Yeah, no problem, Jesse P. I'm going to be here at 10 a.m. for at least 1 hour, Monday through Friday. All right, guys. And I might be doing some more. I appreciate you, Jesse. I try to be. I try to have a little fun with this. Prepping is serious, okay? And we don't always talk about end of the world type stuff, and we rarely talk about the UN or agenda. It's normally mostly how to prepare. But listen, if you're not having fun in your preparedness journey, you're kind of wasting your time. You're kind of wasting your time. So I try to make it as fun as possible. Thank you for your comments. All right, guys. I got to go figure out what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. Hmm. Tomorrow's going to be a day from the road. It'll still be 10 a.m. though. So, as usual, guys, do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up on the way out the door. It's free and it's for me. Yeah. Because if it's free, it's for me. Stay safe. Have a great day, and I shall see you when I see you. Bye bye.